Welcome. You're listening to the Rutten River Pursuits podcast. Join our epic pro staff around the Sonic Campfire for stories and adventures from our eastern mountains to the Chesapeake Salt. Let our highs and lows inspire you to take to the outdoors.
Good evening. You're listening to the Rutten River Pursuits podcast. This is Uncle Buck, and tonight's episode is brought to us by Tyler Dunn Guiding.
If you guys are looking for the ultimate fishing guide experience, go check out our friend Tyler Dunn. He's in Ontario, Canada, and you can find him at 705-255-6974. He offers everything from ice fishing to fishing for pike, muskie, walleye, lake trout. He's an awesome steelhead fisherman. He's done it for 10 years, and he's done nothing else before that, before he started guiding. He knows where the fish are, knows where the activity is, and he's a top-rated guide in that area. Once again, you can find Tyler Dunn at 705-255-6974, and you can look him up online at www.tylerdunguiding.ca, and that is done with D-U-N-N.
Welcome back to the Rutten River Pursuits. I'm Uncle Buck.
Sammy P.
Uncle Catfish.
Kyle P.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Will.
It's Traeger time.
Woo! Amen, guys. I'm excited.
It's supposed to be a surprise.
You blew it! Oh, no!
That's all right.
It's okay, Catfish. I'm so excited. I can't wait to get rolling.
Oh, my God. I can smell the Traeger from down here.
Oh, my gosh. It's going freaking... Kyle got here early, has those wing teasers on. I can't wait for the
What'd you bring, Catfish?
Oh, I brought tenderloins wrapped in bacon.
You've been marinating those
2 days now.
2 days.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, we got some tenderloins and some chicken wings.
Got some heaven mashed potatoes up there.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're actually grilling on the Traeger while we're going to be talking.
We're going to try. It's going to be really tough to not go upstairs and grab something. I can almost guarantee each one of us will be filtered up one at a time to pick off the Traeger.
Absolutely.
It's easy to, I know that we have a big episode today and a great big guest in our world. But I think really the real reason for the season has got to be Sammy P's birthday.
Oh.
You know it. Happy birthday, Sammy.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Sammy P.
Happy birthday to you.
The big general.
Happy birthday to you.
The general's another year older.
Happy birthday, dear Sammy.
More ducks are going to die next year.
Happy birthday to
Nelly, man.
Happy birthday there, big fella.
Good night, sweet prince.
It's been a while since you've been here, Sam.
Yeah. Sammy P.
Working a lot.
Yeah. A Friday night podcast tonight instead of Thursday.
Yeah, we changed it up this week.
Well, I think that the Utah folks give us the curveball. We got Sammy P on because his Thursday nights haven't been working out. So, yeah.
It's going to be a good night, guys.
Could it get any better?
It can, actually,
It will.
as soon as we get to eat off the tray.
I bet that's exactly it. It will.
Yeah. It's going to be a great podcast. We actually had the opportunity to meet Denny Bruce out at the Bearded Bucks turkey weekend. And
here we go again, talking about how awesome that weekend was.
Steve, let me just tell you, the food and the drink
Did
out
you hear
there
about
was
that weekend,
Steve? It was ridiculous. It was nonstop. All you could eat and drink pretty much.
Yeah. Oh,
24/7.
First I'm hearing about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
should
kind of like
there.
that striper trip you took.
Yeah. It's fun.
Tell me about
You
it.
guys want to talk about that?
Let's talk about it
You got
later.
45 minutes.
You know the food's good, and the grill's even better when you got a 100-plus pound Roddy outside guarding it from the neighbors, because you know the neighbors are smelling that.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The food tonight, guys, is going to be phenomenal. I cannot wait to get a hold of that. But before we do, before we get to the food, before we get to how we made the food, let's take a quick break.
Are you looking for an awesome outdoor adventure this summer? Well, the ultimate bow fishing experience awaits. Go to dusttodawmbowfishing.com or call Captain Mark Spagnola at 717-324-1649 to reserve a spot on the boat. Captain Mark has something for all ages and skill levels, so be sure to go check him out.
And we're back. It's Uncle Buck here, and I'm about to announce two special guests from one special company. They're way out west, mountain time, if you will, in Utah. Let me introduce Denny Bruce and Tyler Stark from Traeger Grills. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys. Love to be here.
Hey, guys.
It's great to have you. So how's it going out there in Utah?
It is finally beautiful today. It is, May 19th, and we had snow for the last 4 straight days. So
We got about a foot up in the mountain.
I was happy to see some sun come out.
So you guys were caught up in all that snow that we saw that was coming down in Colorado then, is where I saw it coming.
Exactly. Tail end of it for sure. Our mountains are full of snow, and people are still heading to the hills. Snowbird's open, and a few of our employees were up there today and telling us it was fantastic. So
It's been 90 degrees plus here the last few days. So
Yeah.
you're killing me.
Beautiful.
You guys had that winter weather last week. It flip-flopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This spring has been so bipolar. It has jacked up the turkey season big time, guys, and it's been a trying spring out here.
Denny knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Denny really doesn't know because opening morning I had 9 different toms in front of my blind, and on Monday my dad and I shot a double and rolled them. So I don't know what you guys are complaining about. There's a lot of turkeys in Pennsylvania.
Did something happen Saturday morning, Daddy?
Yeah.
The opening day?
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. My dad's never shot out of a blind, and he chose to shoot some nylon instead of shooting the head off of a tom. But we'll forgive him that one time.
He said it was a little stuffy in that blind.
Video.
In his defense, though, Denny, it was a little stuffy in that blind. He was saying.
That is true. There's 3 of us all with an arm around each other, huddled together in that 4x4 blind. So I'll give him a little bit of credit, but it was his first time shooting his shotgun with a scope on it. He went and bought a turkey gun this year, and he was very, very happy with it right up until the time he pulled the trigger on an actual bird instead of a piece of paper. So it's a lesson learned. He now sticks that 10-inch barrel outside of the tent before he shoots. So, good lesson learned.
That's all. That was a great time. I'm so glad we got a chance to be there at camp with you guys, and get to come back and hear all the stories, and then ultimately, partake in the food that we prepared. Or that was prepared for us.
So this was up at Bearded Buck?
Yes, this was. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That food was ridiculous. It seemed like every hour something was coming off
You
their
guys
Traeger.
insist on rubbing that in.
The Traeger grills didn't. While I was there, never stopped smoking.
Here's the wild thing. They didn't only have like 4 Traeger grills up at the house. I saw one out back of the pool house, and then down where my hammock was at their big shed, there was at least 3 or 4 Traegers.
Hide them all over the property.
Yeah, there was 3 or 4 Traegers sitting down there with covers on them for when they shoot their rifles in. So
holy cow, he probably has one up in one of those fancy blinds of his too.
I'm sure he has one in his bedroom somewhere up in there.
He always has a Traeger within arm's reach.
Truth be told, we get credit for being the Traeger guys. In all honesty, Tyler and I have been here for 3 and 4 years, respectively, and Jerry, I believe, has been a Traeger dealer and been cooking on a Traeger for over 10 years. So if anybody should be speaking on behalf of Traeger, it is Jerry and probably not us. The guy's a phenomenal ambassador for our brand. He's taught me a ton of tricks on a Traeger, and we couldn't be happier to have a partnership with those guys. He is as good of a gentleman as they come. What he's done on his property, getting his both son and his daughter out into the woods, they are truly best of the best.
So that being said, it was an awesome weekend with the guys at Bearded Buck and that wonderful experience that we had, the Traeger smoke going. Guys, tell us a little bit about you and where you're from and a little bit of your backgrounds, if you would.
Sure. I'll start off. Tyler and I worked together for another Park City, Utah-based company called Skull Candy. They make headphones, and they really targeted kind of the youth, action sports. We had a phenomenal run there. There was a point in time where the business was growing so fast that anybody that went to University of Utah was offered an internship, and Tyler did an internship at Skull Candy even before I was there. And lo and behold, not only did Tyler's internship turn into a full-time job, I think we hired every single one of his roommates. And there must have been something in the water there, because they all went on to become absolutely phenomenal employees, and the kind of people that no matter what company you went to, you'd look to drag them along. And I can tell you that was the case with Tyler. The best thing at Skull Candy was Tyler and I worked together, and we both learned that we're avid outdoorsmen. And one thing we were able to do at Skull Candy was a partnership with Realtree, and we met with the guys in Georgia, and we started putting camouflage and the Realtree pattern on some of our headphones. And it turned out to be a super successful program for us. And Tyler and I spent many a day in a duck hunting blind or boat, and many a day in the outdoors. And after working together at Skull Candy, Tyler went on to work for a different company, and I came here to Traeger. And as our marketing efforts in the outdoor space began to grow, he was naturally the right fit to call on to come and oversee all of our marketing efforts in the outdoor space. And ultimately, he became our director of all of our influencers for our brand. So it was definitely a friendship and a partnership that began with a love of being in the outdoors and hunting, and then turned into a lasting friendship, and has brought different opportunities for employment for both of us.
So I'm not the best proficient Traeger grill user, because I'm probably the only one at the table that doesn't have one. However, I get to use wheels here and there. And tell me how this Traeger works for the guys out there that don't have one, because everything that we cook on it here and up at camp has been just phenomenal. So, go over real quick on how this Traeger is different. How's it work?
Yeah, I can take that one. I mean, the biggest point of differentiation for us is, we use wood as the main heating and fuel source for our grill. So unlike charcoal and propane, we're using 100% natural hardwood pellets. They're harvested purely from natural byproduct from the lumber industry. So we're harvesting the sawdust, and we're pushing it through dyes and really making this pellet come out perfect to our specs. And it starts by a hopper with the wood, and there's a little auger system and control unit that when you start your grill, it starts feeding the pellets through the auger system into the fire pot. And there's a hot rod inside that fire pot that will ignite the pellets. And from there, you're really using convection power to cook your meals. And so there's a fan speed, and there's an algorithm within the controller that allows you to, as you crank up the heat, for example, that auger they'll kick in, will feed more pellets. That fan speed will increase to help stoke the flames further and get up the temp. Conversely, as you drop down or go to a smoke mode, that fan speed and the auger speed will adjust to give you that temperature and flavor profile that you're looking for. And so unlike a propane grill where you're turning on the gas, you're getting this explosion when you light the burners.
You don't say.
Our grills are very similar. Yeah. No more eyebrows burning off. That's for sure.
Catfish.
I burnt half my glorious beard off one time.
Yeah, that's a common problem. And even so with the charcoal, me, myself, I love my lighter fluid. So I throw that on there, and all of a sudden I'm covered in char from head to toe. And with a Traeger grill, the beauty of it is the simplicity behind it. And it's literally just a turn of a switch. That fan, the auger, they start working in conjunction with each other. That flame starts building. You see the smoke build. You get that flavor instantly from the smoke filling the air. And it's purely a convection cook process from there. So we get a lot of questions about are our grills electric? And yeah, they do require a power source to get that hot rod started. But once that fire is started, it is all controlled through the air and the fan speed to get you the temperature and the smoke setting that you're looking for.
Here's what I love about I'm going to say Will's Traeger because I don't. Here's what I love about Will's Traeger. This is the second time today, as a consumer, like feedback to you, that I actually have smoked a tenderloin. We're smoking one right now. I smoked one earlier for lunch. My off-brand smoker, which I hope to upgrade very soon, I have extreme problems with keeping temperature, extremely low temperature. I have 2 burners, and on one setting, just on one burner on low, I have a hard time keeping it under 220, even with the door cracked. What I love about the Traeger is the fact that I don't have to sit on my chair with a pair of binoculars watching it constantly because it sits out on my porch, and it has this tiny little dial on it that tells me the temperature. But the Traeger actually will cook at the lower temperatures that I'm looking for, and I don't have to constantly be turning the burner up, down, adding wood, fighting with it, cracking the door, sealing the door. I have a can for the top of it that goes over the smokestack. Sometimes I got to put the can on it, take it off. Traeger really simplifies doing what we love to do, which is not only actually making the wild game that we get, but on top of that, it makes smoking enjoyable because it's not like Smoker for Dummies, but it definitely takes some of the fight out of it.
Oh, they take a lot of the fight out of it. And I think that they go to, like, the ends. Like, if you go on their, like, one of their apps or their website, I mean, it's like the simplest directions. I don't cook I'm not known for my cooking, but, I mean, I can follow the Traeger directions.
Absolutely. And you, the second you put your hands on a Traeger and lift the lid and all, you can tell that it's made. Like it's not no flimsy Lowe's grill. I mean, this thing is stout, sturdy, and it's built well. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, Tyler, you guys are somewhat unique because, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Traeger came out with the original pellet style grill, correct?
Yeah, I'll let Denny take that. He tells the founding story way more eloquently than I can, so I'm going to let him take the lead on this one.
Yeah, believe it or not, Traeger is a 30-year-old company. So we actually invented the first wood pellet grill. A great guy by the name of Joe Traeger. He lived about an hour south of Portland, up in Oregon. And kind of the folklore story goes, in the mid '80s, the gas grill came out, and that kind of revolutionized the space that was traditionally just a charcoal grilling market, and a gas grill gave you that ability to turn on the gas, click the button, and your grill starts up. So there's this great convenience factor. And Joe Traeger won a gas grill off of a radio contest. And he was pretty excited about it, called up all of his kids and their grandkids and had a 4th of July celebration. And he had put a bunch of chicken wings on his gas grill, lit it up, and was cooking the chicken wings. And pretty soon the drippings from the chicken fell into that open flame, created a flare-up and a big fire on his patio deck. And in order to get the flame out, he had to run across his deck and kick the gas grill off the side of his deck. And I've been told that gas grill still lives underneath his deck today as kind of a reminder to that open flame and its ability to catch fire. Joe had already worked in the wood pellet heating industry and started a company that made wood pellet heating stoves. And immediately he went into his barn and said, there's got to be a way to take that technology and use it in a cooker. And, he really just set off to solve the problem of flare-ups in an open flame grill. So if you look at any Traeger, they have a drip tray on the inside. So when that grease falls through the grill grates, it slides down that drip tray and into a bucket at the end. And if you look at any of the Traegers out there, they all kind of have that iconic bucket on the side. And really, he set out to just solve that one simple problem of flare-ups. And what he didn't realize at the same time was he was basically creating an indirect cooking method. And later he added a fan which created convection heat on the inside and really took a grill from just being a grill and being able to kind of sear a hot dog or a hamburger to truly being an outdoor convection oven, meaning that anything you can cook in your oven inside will cook the same outdoors, but it'll be infused with that great wood flavor. So, not only is our cooker a grill, but it'll bake, It'll, smoke. It'll do traditional low and slow barbecue, hot and fast searing. You can roast a turkey on it. It's probably one of my favorite things to do. The turkey is actually pretty fantastic because not only do you bring it outside and lock in all those juices and create a bird that tastes amazing, now you have all this empty space in your indoor oven where you can create your sides and keep everything warm. So when it's time to serve that Thanksgiving dinner, it all goes on the table at the same time and it all stays warm. So just really a versatile cooker.
Denny, I can't agree with you more on that turkey. And I didn't even have a butterball turkey. I had the turkey that was harvested that morning out of the wild, minimal prep time to marinate or in brine, thrown on that Traeger grill, cooked off. It was just as juicy as me brining a butterball for 2 days, dropping it in a deep fryer. And I could not. I had to take multiple pieces of that turkey off.
You had to.
I had to. I was forced to
sample it many times. I like it
to confirm that I was actually eating a wild turkey. I mean,
really,
I couldn't keep it out of my mouth.
Bless your heart.
Tyler and I had a chance to go out to the World Turkey Hunting Championships this year, and we had our grill set up, and initially they were just cooking dinner, and one or two guys came in and they had their birds and they weighed them in, and then they didn't really know what to do with them because they were flying out the next day. So one of our pit masters, Chad Ward, said, "Hey, you want me to breast that out and throw it on the grill for you?" And I said, "Hell yeah." And it came out so fantastic, just throwing a little bit of rub on there and throwing it on the grill, that before he knew it, he had
turkey breasts all primed and cooked up
totally
within the next 2 hours.
we were serving turkey to every one of the hunters coming back in for the day. So
sounds glorious.
Yeah, it really does special things especially to birds. Yeah, everybody always asks me what's my favorite thing to cook on a Traeger, and you always puff your chest out and you say something cool like brisket or ribs, something that the barbecue guys, kind of pound their chest over. In all honesty, like basic chicken, doing a whole chicken, a beer can chicken on a Traeger is probably the single best thing, because if you're used to doing chicken on a gas grill, you throw that chicken on and you cook that thing until you clearly know it's dead. You pull it off, and the thing is not juicy. It's rubbery. It's hard. And when you cook it on a Traeger, quite honestly, the first time you cook one, you take it off, you start cutting into it, and juices just start flowing out. And you go, "Oh man, did I undercook this thing?" Only to realize that that's how chicken's meant to be prepared. Yeah. And the chicken that comes off a Traeger just tastes fantastic. It's moist. It's juicy. It is honestly probably where the Traeger shines the most, even though it's not quite as sexy as some of those big barbecue meats that people love to talk about. But man, the Traeger cooks chicken and turkey like no other.
There's definitely to your point, a learning curve. Everything totally appears undercooked, but it. I mean, it's like just because of how juicy and how moist everything is. There's no question separates the men from the boys. I literally gave my gas grill away to some poor sap.
I heard today.
It was awesome. This past weekend was Mother's Day, and there was a couple different posts on Instagram that people had to forward to me. And the first one started off, there was this old stainless steel gas grill that was left on a curb with a cardboard sign on it that they wrote in Sharpie marker, "Free," and underneath it in parentheses it said, "I bought my wife a Traeger," and which I thought was awesome.
I'm pretty sure that went viral on Facebook. Yeah, that was awesome.
It was great. A bunch of people sent it to me, and it was pretty cool. And then later in the day, another person posted one, and then I think there was a third one. So I don't know if one triggered the other, or if everybody just kind of had the same idea, but we take a good amount of pride in that. Our product's not cheap. We know that. But the people that buy one or that have eaten food off one really, really appreciate what it does. You know, an average selling price of a gas grill is maybe $300-400. An average Traeger, our first price point is $450, and our number one selling grill is $700. So it's quite a bit more expensive, and we know that. But the unique thing about it is when people buy it at first, they cringe a little bit and they go, wow, you know, $700, I'm used to spending $400 on a grill. But then you talk to them again in a month or two and they went, holy cow, I don't use it, you know, once a week. I use it 6 days a week, 7 days a week. I don't just use it to cook a burger or a hot dog. I do pizza on it. I do macaroni and cheese.
Breakfast.
I do vegetables.
Yeah.
So it's the versatility of it. And going back to Denny's comment about simple chicken breast, I mean, simple things that you do even in your oven, you can use your same bakeware, literally the same exact recipes that you would cook in your standard in-home oven on the grill. The temperature settings are the same. The cooking process is the same, and you're not getting that direct heat. So you can use an expensive piece of bakeware in there to cook a cobbler or a cake or cookies or whatever. But you have that versatility across whatever you want to do. And that's what's so special about our product is people are using it multiple times a week to create everything from breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Yeah.
You know, any meal you can think of can be created on a Traeger, which is so awesome.
Back up to the breakfast. What are you cooking for breakfast?
French
on the
toast,
grill?
like
French toast on the grill.
Bacon,
souffle, like the
bacon.
You know,
How do you cook French toast?
Bacon on the Traeger is probably one of the God's greatest gifts to man right
Oh, my God.
now. That's serious.
it's
not only does it get
stupid.
the smell of your house, my wife doesn't complain that I'm stinking up the house when I'm cooking bacon, but it comes out crisp. It comes out flavorful. It's just like it's been double smoked. I mean, you already get it pre-smoked from the butcher, but now you're smoking it again to finish it up, and it's, man,
Yeah.
bacon on that thing is out of the world.
Our chefs in-house, every Monday morning, we start off our work week with a stand-up meeting where the whole company comes into our kitchen. And we know, as a company, we take a lot of pride in our grills and the food we prepare. And also for the fact
thanks for the invite for that.
anytime.
The hospital I work for doesn't even allow you to eat breakfast in the work area.
Yeah, man.
I'm talking about cereal, something that don't even smell.
I was going to inquire for the doorman's job or something.
Are you guys hiring?
Always. We cook breakfast Monday mornings. We do lunch every Wednesday, and the reason that we're pretty lively today is we do happy hour on Fridays, which it still is happy hour out here in Utah. It is 4:35 as we do this, and but Monday morning, our guys take a cast iron skillet and they make a breakfast casserole, and they've done every version of it, but my favorite is they'll do eggs, bacon, hash browns, all in the same casserole dish.
Yeah, yep.
And it's just a cast iron plate, and they throw it on the Traeger, and it comes out fantastic. You scoop it out, and you get an entire meal in one single skillet, and it's one of my favorite things. It's probably an old Boy Scout camp recipe that was converted over, but I look forward to every Monday morning starting my week off with that kind of casserole dish.
That's awesome.
Now you got me thinking. I might have to get one for the duck blind now.
Oh, you haven't tried that one.
We'll get a little generator for it.
So I'll send you guys some great ideas. We've mounted a tailgater. Our small portable unit on the back of the drift boat, and we brought that thing down. We do a float on the Green River out here, and that thing's seen some fantastic, not only stretches of river that are absolutely loaded with trout, but it's also gone through some severe rapids with smoke coming out the back and ribs on the rack.
Speaking of interesting places Traeger grills have been and cooking for the company, you told an interesting story about having to upgrade your grills at the home office and having to go across the street, I guess, to the construction company building the building to help you out?
Yes, without a doubt. Actually, I just watched a video. We have a full video on it now. One of our pro pit masters, Danielle, they call her Diva Q. She's absolutely fantastic, but she came out and cooked for us one time, and she said, I'm cooking for 150, 200 people out here, and you're giving me, $400 4 or 5 little grills. I need a big commercial grill to make this thing happen. We said, oh, that's a shame. We've already built our building, and we're on the 2nd floor. And even though we have an amazing patio, I don't know how we'd get a commercial grill up here. And lo and behold, there's a 6-story crane across the street when they're building a retirement center. And somebody from our marketing team literally walked across the street and said, hey, I know this is crazy, but we need to get one of our grills up onto the 2nd floor deck of our patio. Any chance of you guys helping out? And he goes, are you with Traeger Grills? And we go, yeah. He goes, every single day, all of our workers ask us if we can go across the street and create a relationship with Traeger. So all we simply did was we cooked lunch for them for about 150 people, and they rolled that big old crane across the street and put a COM 190 on the back deck of our global headquarters, which was pretty awesome.
That's great.
COM 200, Tyler just updated me.
So that's a big commercial grill, Denny, correct?
It is. It's massive.
So
tow behind. It'll hold 400 or 500 chicken quarters.
All right. So now we're going to take a different direction from me. If you get spare time, one for the kayak would be amazing. Small little kayak version.
A kayak smoker.
A kayak smoker that'll run off my car battery would be awesome.
One that'll survive a rollover. Just kidding.
I get some serious dry wells for those pellets, though.
Yeah, right?
I like it.
I do have to tell you, I wish this was a smell-a podcast because I just went out to check on the Traeger because the old school smoker in me just couldn't not walk out there.
Couldn't just sit there.
I couldn't just sit here. It was bugging me, and I really didn't need to. I mean, oh my God, it looks so amazing. I lifted the lid, and I was like, oh,
I bet you those wings
almost didn't come back. I was
nicely.
ready to eat all the wings without you.
Catfish, that takes me to just you teed something up. Their models, they have a new model out that you wouldn't even had to get up.
Yeah,
and go out there. You'd Bluetooth it right on your phone.
I've been having dreams about that.
What?
Yes.
What's new for you guys?
Tell us about that model, guys.
You want to talk about the Timberline?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the big news on Traeger Grills front is end of March we released a new model. It's a few years in the making. It's been kind of teased around for a little bit, but it's the new Timberline series. It's literally our top of the line, highest technology rich grill that we've ever produced. And we spent a lot of hours R&Ding this thing, really getting a lot of consumer feedback from the professional pit masters, and taking inspiration from across the industry, to be quite honest. And so the Timberline we came out with, we offer in 2 sizes, an 850 or a 1300, and that equates to the square inches of cooking surface. So on the 850, it's 850 square inches, 1300 is 1300 square inches. To put that in perspective, the 850 is roughly the same size as our Pro 34. So you're getting a lot of grilling surface for a smaller, more compact package. But what's really cool about that, you kind of touched on it, is really the technology and the features behind it. I mean, first and foremost, the thing that stands out the most is the upgraded control system. It's all cloud-based. It attaches to your home network, so it's actually not a Bluetooth. A lot of people on the market have Bluetooth-enabled controllers, which is great. You can monitor, you can get your temperatures, you can adjust things, but you have a certain range that you're limited to. When it's a point-to-point, and it's sorry, not a point-to-point, but it's a cloud-based network, you're situated to your home network. You're connected into your Wi-Fi, your home network, so that no matter where you go, whether you have 4G, 3G, LTE, whatever these new mobile terms are, whether you have Wi-Fi, you could be 50 miles away. You will still be able to see what's occurring on your grill. There is no range because it's connected to the home network, and that's the biggest thing about this new controller that makes it so special. From there, we've got additional technology features like the new app that we launched that, if you follow us on social media, we're very, very big on providing content and recipes to our users. You got to be cooking on our product. You really want to show the versatility of this, and so we really make an effort to put out recipes of the day, recipes of the week. We have email blasts that give you content.
We haven't
but now
noticed.
With this app, you can, you may or may not, but if you're watching your email inbox, you're gonna get some good inspiration for some dinner.
Oh yeah.
But with the app, you have all this on your fingertips now. You no longer have to go to a website. You no longer have to go to this. You have this all on your fingertips. You can download these recipes from the app to your grill and have these custom cook times preset into the grill, so you really take a lot of the guesswork out. you can custom create your own. Say you have your own rib recipe that you really like, and say, for lack of a better term, we have a 3-2-1 rib recipe. It's a classic recipe of ours. It's 3 hours of smoke, 2 hours of higher temp, and then it's boiled and sat for the last hour at that high temp. You can take that and you can customize that. Say you don't like a smoky flavor, you can bump down that smoke setting, and you can program all these custom cook settings into your grill so that it's repeatable every single time you go to make that dish. And especially on the competitive barbecue side, that's the biggest thing from a competitor's eyes, is that consistency, that repeatability of results. And so the Timberline really makes that process simple for you. We've gone as far as, aside the obvious tech things like the home network, the cloud-based connectivity and the app, to things that you see your day-to-day, for example, through a Yeti cooler. You talk about these new drinkwares that are coming up in this double-wall stainless insulation. Well, we've actually incorporated that into our grill. And so you get much more consistent temperature inside the grill year-round because of this double-wall insulation.
So the grill is insulated.
Yes.
It is. Yeah. So
it's like a roto motor.
100%. Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Stevie, this is where these guys
100%
are being a little too. They're not giving themselves enough credit when they self-admit that their product's a little bit more expensive. But you're not buying your granddad's grill. I mean, this is quality.
So's a Ford, but I mean, it's a better truck.
Ford is a better truck. Thank you.
Oh, shots fired. Here we go. Let's stay on
that was for you, Phil.
Thanks, Catfish. I appreciate it, buddy.
Oh, my gosh. Anyway, Traeger grills, everyone.
Curveball.
But no, the insulation factor, I mean, that surprised me for that Timberline that you guys had at the Bearded Buck. I picked up that lid, and I was like, oh my God, like it was ridiculous. Yeah, that you talk about well built. It's like your normal grills are pretty hefty, and then I picked up that lid, and I was like, oh man, I think I strained my shoulder.
Yeah, Denny, let me tell you something. For years and years, I used to really love to just watch Kyle's Instagram because he was on it. It was hunting, it was fishing, it was in his tree stand, it was black paint on his face. There isn't any more Kyle. It's all pictures of food and Traegers and grilling. Since he got his Traeger, he needs to change his Instagram to Kyle Traeger.
I think some people might think I'm married to my grill because I think majority of my pictures are just of meat or some type of recipe that's on my Traeger.
Well, he spends more time with his grill than his girl. That's sure.
I love it. I love it. Nothing wrong with that.
Denny, Tyler, I need you guys' help with something. I have a basic, big box store propane grill. And last year I set it on fire, much like Mr. Traeger did 30 years ago or something like that. A very similar situation, only it was with hamburgers and not chicken or whatever he was cooking. But so I need a new grill, but I'm having trouble convincing another person that lives in my house that we need a new grill.
The CFO
of the Miser household, that we need a new grill. So what can you give me some tips or pointers I could use to convince, maybe something to make her life a little easier?
Totally. So a couple quick things I use, because you're not the first husband that's had to sell it on the wife. So first off, food coming off a Traeger just tastes better, and we've actually spent a ton of time just doing demos. And demos can be as simple as throwing chicken wings on a grill. It doesn't have to be brisket or pulled pork or something like that. When you taste food coming off a grill, it really does taste different and taste better. That said, a lot of times you may hear from the wife like, "Hey, I don't love smoke flavor," and the best thing about it is smoking really only occurs at low temperature. So 160 to 225 degrees is really where smoke occurs. If your wife's concerned about it, you go, "Look, honey, we'll cook at 350. You cook at 400, just like we would on in our oven or on a traditional gas grill, and then you won't have the smoke. You'll just have that extra little kiss of wood-fired flavor that's added in there." So I'd encourage you to go to jump on our dealer locator, go to a store. Most of our better stores do demos on the weekends, and they'll be happy to share food coming off of one of our grills to help push you over the edge. The other part too that's a good closer for you is when people cook on a Traeger, they usually cook a full meal. Traditionally, Dad goes outside and cooks the meat. Mom stays inside. She cooks the sides. And what happens with a Traeger is everybody loves to cook a full meal on it. So you'll put your protein, your chicken, your beef, whatever, on the left side, and then you may throw some rub on some baked potatoes and wrap them in tinfoil and throw them on there. You may put asparagus out there with a little olive oil on it, or maybe corn on the cob across the top rack, or zucchini. And all of a sudden, or maybe it's simple. It's mac and cheese. A lot of people will go to Costco or the grocery store and buy, the already made mac and cheese that comes in an aluminum pan, and you just throw it on there, and you still get that kiss of smoke added to it. And before you know it, the husband ends up cooking more often than the wife does, which, gosh, I mean, talk about, a key selling point.
Yeah. There's your sales pitch. There it is. You never have to cook ever again.
That's, I'm kind of the exception, or not necessarily the exception, but I think that the grill moniker unfortunately happens. I think the women think they're getting another grill, and that's totally not the case. I can't get to my grill now. My wife has commandeered it, as her own, and it's kind of funny. I mean, she that mac and cheese that you talked about. I've had so much food from that grill.
She told me she was going to bake a cake on it.
She did. Well, the thing is,
I wasn't even aware that you could bake a cake on a grill.
Yeah,
you can't.
Here's the funny thing:
you bake the cake.
It's a convection oven, though, guys.
So listen to this story.
So it's a convection oven that infuses that wood flavor that everybody wants when they get that barbecue. And when Denny said that, going to the baking thing specifically, one of our favorite things, Denny and I were on a whitetail hunt up in South Dakota this past December, and we bought a simple, it was like a Costco pre-made pie, and we literally just threw it on the grill just to warm it up. And just at that high temperature, because you're getting the heat and not so much of that smoke, it just imparts just enough of that flavor into the crust that just adds that other element to it. And so there's tons of things you can do. Cobblers. Yeah, cobblers, and it's incredible.
Tyler, you're the first man that ever made me roll my eyes into the back of my head.
I don't know how to take that.
Take your word for it.
Moving on.
Yeah. I have a funny story. I actually acquired my grill. My wife travels frequently for work, and she was in China at the time. I had a little, other brand kind of smoker, and I sold that to my sister. And I took that little chunk of money and I ran to get this grill. And my wife and I, if it's anything over $150, we talk about it. And this is one time I'm like, I need this grill.
You didn't tell her?
I didn't tell her. She came home she's
love it.
And I got a stern talking to, but don't do that anymore. But because it was a Traeger, it was smoothed over very quickly.
Right. So there's first selling point, Steve, is wife, you no longer have to cook. Second, if that doesn't work, just buy it and don't tell her. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's what I'm suggesting.
Or let her learn on her own.
Or there's a third option. Get to her through food. My pregnant wife,
yeah,
I got her sold on.
Nice.
She actually wants me to upgrade because I made her. She's pregnant and she was craving s'mores, so I had the idea to make s'mores on my Traeger.
Nice.
She's been sold ever since.
You got the campfire feel.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I got her hooked.
You could always go with my option with Lacey. Everything that I buy for myself, I just buy her one in pink, and it's good.
I'm going to buy two.
We actually make a pink grill called the Pig.
Yes.
So we can get you covered on that one.
I'm pretty sure, Denny. I mean, you don't even have to talk to me. It's just all a matter of time. It's a matter of time before I have my Traeger.
And just to go a little bit further on that, on that pink issue. You guys teamed up with R2. I think we've just developed a whole new line that could double your profits. Is to his and her models. You could sell two.
I like it
all the time. Hers his
that combines to one big grill.
Boom!
Click them together.
It's like it's like a transformer, guys.
Totally.
One bucket.
We're making grilling great again.
Making grilling great again. I like it.
Yep, two grills, one bucket.
But we have not talked about one important factor, guys.
What's that?
And that is the star of that grill, and that's what you load it up with, and that's those pellets.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, true.
Touched upon it a little bit, but yeah, this is. I think there's a lot of technology that we learned about at the Bearded Buck event, the
that
turkey
impressed
event.
the heck out of me. I had a pellet stove before moving into my current home, and when I first started hearing about Traeger grill and pellet grills, it just caught me like, what a great idea!
Yeah.
You know, that was awesome. But yet, the science that goes into your pellets, though, and I never even thought it all the way through. And I'm not going to steal your thunder because I want you to tell the pellet story and where you make them and how you make them and all about this new blend that's got my lid flipping right now, guys. Tell us all about it.
Love it. Yeah, I can take that one for you guys. You know, the wood pellet process is really an interesting ordeal. There's a lot of different opinions on how that goes, but one thing that is certain is that Traeger really has taken the lead as to try to make a process around what makes a wood pellet so special, what makes it burn properly, what makes it smoke properly. We're actually in the process of I'm headed out to Portland next week to film a video on this, and you'll see it in about a month or so on our social websites about how this is made from the raw material collection all the way to it being bagged and delivered to your store. But what a lot of things that happen in a lot of wood pellet industry, especially when you speak about the heating pellet specifically, is a lot of people are familiar with a heating pellet stove or a commercial pellet stove from that aspect. We make a big emphasis on the food grade quality, and so we have a lot of Q&A that goes behind the scenes and a lot of process that was built into it to make sure that this pellet is as natural and pure as possible before it goes into your grill and touches your food. And that starts at the very beginning. So, you know, one of the common misconceptions around wood pellets is that we're actually cutting down trees and we're deforesting the natural elements. Well, we're not actually. We are definitely helping. This is a sustainable product. We set up all of our mills. So we have 4 mills across the U.S. We are the only wood pellet grill manufacturer to own all of our mills. And all of our pellets are 100% virgin hardwood. And what that means is, virgin can come from the sense that, hey, it could be a real tree that we're cutting down the tree and putting it through, but that is not the case. So like I said, we set up all of our mills next to an actual sawmill facility. So this is we're collecting byproducts from the lumber industry. So these sawmills are taking their trees and they're making their 2x4s, their plywood, their sheet wood. We're collecting all of this raw material before it's processed, before it's treated, stained, or anything else, collecting it right from the source of the mill. We take it to a sifter. We basically sort it through. We debark all this material because bark is dirty smoke. We want the cleanest, most natural smoke you want. When you're barbecuing, you talk about this blue smoke. And so you always want to achieve this light, clear blue smoke. You don't want this heavy gray smoke. That's just bad flavor going into your food. And so the debarking process is the first step in ensuring that you have a very clean, fresh taste imparted into your food. So once we collect that raw material, it goes through, gets debarked. We then put it through a heating process, which dries it to a specific moisture content. For us, we found that to be around that 5% moisture. And what we're trying to achieve with that moisture content is the proper BTU, that burn rate, so you get that heat that you're looking for. And everybody's familiar with BTUs from a propane standpoint. But the same concept applies to any kind of thermal laws there. So you take that wood pellet, and woods, for example, like an oak, burn very hot. When you start talking about like an apple or a cherry, they are on the hardwood spectrum, but they're a softer hardwood, and they have these flavors in them, and they burn a lot lower temperatures. You get more smoke and more flavor from them, but you don't get that heat. And so we've put together this algorithm that says, okay, this is about the right moisture content for this pellet. It's going to give you the optimal heat source as well as the optimal smoke amount. And so that's dried. That material is dried to that 5%. It then goes through a process, and it is pushed into a die. And so a lot of people in their pellets, they think about how these actually bound together, and it's actually a natural process. There's no additives, there's no nothing that actually binds these pellets together other than the natural materials. It's called ligands in the wood. And so under pressure and heat, as these things are extruded through the die, it naturally glues and binds together to form this wood pellet.
Some of our listeners aren't going to understand what a die is. That you're not talking about you're putting die almost like it's a press like they make pills with.
It's 100%. It's basically a giant metal ring with a bunch of little holes that are the diameter of our pellet.
Correct.
And we're pushing this raw material with such force through these little holes, and the die refers to the tool that allows the pellets or the product to actually take form. And so we're taking the sawdust, pushing it through a pressure through these tiny holes of this die tool, and it basically the end product is the pellet form you see in your bags.
In a regular, like a pellet heating stove, there's a lot of binder material that they use to stick the sawdust back together, and it leaves soot, and even you can see a difference between batches from one mill to the next, and how often you even have to clean it out, and that's what really impressed me about their pellet technology is how much time that they did invest in that to give a great, clean product.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a great point. A lot of the commercial heating pellets, as an example, as you're burning things, you don't care so much what's inside of them because it's a heat source. So you get the binders, things that hold them together to maybe burn a little longer. You also get materials or byproducts that are inside those that may not be from a pure wood source like a virgin lumber yard would be. So they could be going to a furniture manufacturing facility, for example, and collecting byproducts that have been treated or chemically induced to, withhold the elements or mold, rot, whatever that may be. And so, our pellets, we really take the steps to make sure that there are no chemical additives, whether that be from a stain, a varnish, or a treatment to preserve it, down to, what actually binds the products together. That is a very important thing because you don't want those chemicals onto your at the end of the day. One of the things that we pride ourselves on is our pellets are 99% efficient. And what that means is there's a very, very low ash content at the end of the burn. So if you were to burn our pellets, or even after you burn, say, 20 pounds, a full bag of our pellets, you open up the inside of the grill, there is so little ash compared to what would happen if you look at a traditional stick burner, for example, and you throw a log into your fire or your stick burner, you get a lot of ash from that log. Our pellets burn 99% efficient, which means that you're getting that heat, you're getting that smoke flavor, and you're not getting any of that residue or that, unused portion.
Yeah, that takes us kind of to cleanup, and that cleanup on a grill, on a Traeger, is almost nothing. I mean, that soot is so light. The byproduct is so light. It's just a quick little shop vac,
it's done like that.
Yeah. That's very impressive. It's just one more thing that they do to simplify the process and to make the grilling experience.
And I didn't know all that, so that's extremely. It's not only interesting, but I'm super impressed. That's awesome, guys.
Yeah.
Well, in addition, with your guys' pellet process, you guys also offer a wide variety of flavors.
Yeah, we have 9 standard flavors. That include your standard hardwood and fruit woods. And then, especially when you start looking at the competition barbecue scene, blending pellets is a very popular thing to do. Like I said earlier, oak burns a lot hotter than an apple or a cherry would. And so between being able to blend pellets together will not only give you different flavor profiles, but also will allow you to have the flexibility within the temperature and smoke ranges that you're looking for. And so we offer about 4 different blends currently. They're blending our existing flavors, but it's imparting different flavor profiles into the proteins, as well as allowing you to have some variability in the temperature and the ultimate flavor.
We actually had the big game blend at the Bearded Buck event, and that was the first I'd had food with that.
What's in the big game blend?
Who cares? It tasted awesome.
That's a great question and perfect for your audience. So I mentioned earlier, Tyler and I have worked with Realtree for the past few years, and we think they're a fantastic company that just gives back to the sport and obviously is authentic in our space. And we talked to them about, hunters take a ton of pride in the game that they harvest. And part of that is how they use the harvest after the kill. And we believe that it's much better to cook game meat at a higher temperature, because game meats just don't have as much fat as those, to your point, a butterball turkey that you call that's been, injected and purposefully been raised to produce a high fat content. Natural game meats just don't have that amount of fat, so they need to be prepared a tiny bit different. So if you cook them at high heat, you tend to not overcook game meats, and you're able to lock in some of that juice and some of that flavor. So with the Realtree pellet, what we learned was Realtree is based in Georgia. Georgia also is one of the largest states that produces oak. They actually have two different flavors of oak, a red oak and a white oak. And oak happens to be one of the highest BTU burning hardwoods out there. So we thought it was a great idea to take a red Georgia oak and a white Georgia oak and make a special pellet out of that. And when our culinary team got a hold of it, they said, the other great thing that would be nice was to infuse an herb in there as well. So our big game blend actually takes both of those oak hardwoods and then adds a rosemary to it. And that rosemary just kind of kicks down the gaminess that's sometimes associated with harvested meat. And so you have this pellet that is absolutely perfect for, your venison, your elk steaks, things like that. Personally, I use it for just about everything. I also use our big game rub on everything from store-bought chicken to an elk backstrap. But that blend in and of itself is absolutely fantastic for anybody that's out there harvesting game and looking to prepare that game on a grill,
or for anything for that matter. It's one of the most used game pellet blends from all of our pros on our team from the barbecue side. They love that blend. That rosemary and that red and white oak combination really works well on a lot of different meats.
It's not. I was very surprised. There was a ton of flavor that came from it. Like that whole weekend, I was blown away.
Yeah, the flavor was ridiculous.
So I want to cook groundhogs on it. You got me going now. I want to cook groundhogs on the Traeger, coyote burgers. I want to make shit that other people don't make.
Hey, there's already a great recipe for whistle pig barbecue sandwiches.
Boom.
There's nothing wrong with eating groundhogs. People snicker at me, but
I love groundhog.
Low and slow makes everything good.
Low and slow. We should do this. We should go out with Mark Spagnola and we should Traeger up some stingrays.
Stingray.
Oh, I bet you Stingray is awesome.
We could easily do that.
Is there a Traeger recipe for that, Tyler?
You know what? I know a number of guys that go bowfish stingray regularly, and they have not thrown a Traeger yet. I'm waiting to see that happen. I've seen some pretty crazy things thrown on there, but stingray is actually
challenge accepted.
I think you should give that as the R2 project.
Dude, I've seen moose, I've seen bear, I've seen rattlesnake, I've seen groundhog, I've seen alligator, bacon wrapped alligator, a full alligator, maybe. But the possibilities are literally just endless. If you can eat it, it will taste better on a Traeger. I guarantee that.
Your marketing into the outdoor world is phenomenal idea, because what guys do to prepare, the time, the money to prepare to go hunting, all the work, and then what do you do when you come home? You just throw it in an oven? You throw it on a regular grill to get dried out? Or
Absolutely not.
The best.
I'm getting ready to go eat these backstraps.
Exactly. Like, why would you do that to something you work so hard for? Something that deserves better.
One of my favorite stories ever since I started here. One of my buddies is the marketing manager over at Hoyt Archery, and he was telling me, he's like, I've been an avid hunter for years, many, many years, but he's like, I always had this guilt associated with it because I go out on my mule deer hunts every year, and I'd come back and I'd be so stoked that I got a great buck or whatever, he harvested. And I'd have it all processed, and I'd go out and I'd ready to prepare a meal for my family, and I'd cook it, and nobody ever wanted to eat it. And so he's like, I had this struggle where it's like, well, why do I hunt? Because I'm not able to enjoy it. My family's not able to enjoy it. he actually got a Traeger, and it changed his whole mind on it. And he bought it. This is long before we even had a relationship. I mean, this is probably 6-7 years. And he bought it, and say we talk about the versatility, the ease, all these things, the consistency of the grill, and especially when it pertains to wild game, he was able to throw it on there. He was able to have a controlled temperature. He was able to not burn it, sear it in the way that ruined it, and it came off moist, juicy to perfection, and so much so that his family, his kids, everybody actually enjoyed it. And that's the biggest part to me about the whole feel at the table movement. And the reason why we all hunt and are outdoors is literally you work so hard for this effort. You want to share it with all your friends and family. And that's what it comes down to is you don't want to go out to them. You've put in 3, 4, or 5 days plus in the field. You've hiked your ass off. You come home and you burn this thing. You dry it out. You cook it to its point and it's literally just rubber. And the Traeger really allows you to maintain that temperature, maintain that consistency, lock in the juices and the flavor, as well as add additional flavor. And it just turns out crazy. And people can enjoy it. Even people that don't consider themselves wild game fans, you could put that to them and they could think that they're, you put a piece of elk backstrap up there and they could think that they're eating a filet mignon. They have no difference unless they were told otherwise. And it's really just because they've never been able to have wild game come out so flavorful, so moisture rich. It's such a great product for that.
So, Tyler, I'm used to, old box smokers, cold smokers that I built before, where, we make a lot of bologna, we make a lot of sausage, and I'm used to hanging them. Is, research and development something that, on a Traeger, I mean, I imagine I can lay them down to smoke them, in a Traeger. But maybe down the road, maybe Traeger will give Uncle Catfish a giant hot dog roller attachment so that I can put my, 3-pound sausage links in there, bologna links.
Maybe I'll let Denny do that. He oversees the product side as well, so maybe he can come up with that one.
Yeah, pitch that to him for me, would you?
I will.
I like it though.
What looking in there, watching a couple 3-4 pound deer bologna logs rolling around. I don't know. It sounds sexy to me.
I can't agree more.
All right, Denny, Tyler, is there anything that you want to talk about we haven't talked about?
The beauty of our product is really about the taste, the versatility, the ease, and the consistency behind it. We have repeatable results. You're able to, literally take a piece of backstrap, cook it one night, wow your crowd, and do the same thing the very next night. And it really makes the process simple and flavorful and really just spot on every single time. And I think that's the biggest thing that people just aren't aware that there is another option out there and that we have a very great solution to make their dinner better and make everybody feel like they're a 5-star chef.
Well, and Tyler and Denny, I mean, I think too, Traeger, I mean, you guys simplified the pellet process and made good quality pellets. You offer numerous models for somebody that's single and you have a small tailgater grill all the way up to the commercial barbecuer. And also, if that's not easy enough, the Traeger system, you guys also offer the shop classes as well. You guys want to talk a little bit about those?
You want to jump in that one, Nick?
Yeah, that's a great question. So shop class is a fun little project that we kicked off a year ago. And what we essentially do is we bring one of our professional pit masters out and we build a class that teaches people how to use a Traeger, how to cook, some of our favorite recipes on there. We actually do 2 different versions of the class. We do a competition barbecue class where we cook the 4 traditional comp meats. And then we also cook a backyard class, which is more traditional. It's chicken breast, it's steak, salmon. That makes it a little bit more user-friendly for the average backyard griller. It's a great way, whether you're a newbie to a Traeger or you're looking to get into the competition barbecue scene, you can pick up a ton from these guys and gals. Sorry, Diva. They do a 4-hour class. There's an entry fee. It's $100 to attend a class.
you get more than $100 in a grab bag from Traeger, and also our sponsors Yeti, Snake River Farms, Thermapen, Uinta Beers, but more importantly, the knowledge that you pick up in that 4-hour class is phenomenal. These guys have been teaching classes for years and do an amazing job of really kind of opening the kimono and showing you true tips and tricks of how a pro creates remarkable turn-ins in boxes for true comp meets.
That's great. And I mean, I think that's something too that kind of sets you guys apart is you're more than just selling grills and smokers. You're so much more involved from all aspects, from selling the grills to coaching people to offering recipes you're almost completing full circle the whole package.
Absolutely. And one of the best things about us is we're very, very dedicated to providing content to our consumers. So, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, our website. We're pushing out so much recipe content, so much inspiration for the home cooks. We're really trying to make sure that this process is as seamless as possible. So people are having ways to continually cook on there, creating dishes that their families will love. And content and the social push that we have is just such a big component to our business that it really makes it awesome for our consumers to be part of the brand, because we are feeding you inspiration, recipes, content so frequently that you don't have to think about what you're cooking for dinner that night. No,
and it's amazing. I fall into it wholeheartedly. If I see something that speaks to me, that I'm stopping at the grocery store on the way home and picking up what I saw, and surprising my wife. And more times than not, she does that for me. She's a big, Traeger fanatic, and you can tell. Ask any one of these guys what she does on the Traeger.
You guys are going to end up with that in his and her Transformer grill.
I'll bring it up in our next product meeting.
Hey guys, and so you're all over your social media properties pretty much. Is there any other ways that we can find you guys, apps or?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is we just launched our app about a month ago. It's a phenomenal tool for anybody that maybe is not on social media. It has all of our recipes at our fingertips. You can actually see what's happening on our social networks, who's talking about us, what's going on in the digital realm, as well as if you have the Timberline, be able to control your entire cook process. So the app is a really great tool for Traeger owners and non-owners alike, to be quite honest.
To close this out, I mean, there's several other players out there in the wood-fired grill game. But why Traeger? Why should someone select Traeger over any of those other guys?
Besides what we talked about the entire.
to sum it all up and bring it all together, why would I buy a Traeger versus a?
That's a great question. First and foremost, we invented the category. We have more history in wood pellet grilling than anybody out there. And more importantly, we owned our patents until the last 7 or 8 years. So, we're a 30-year-old company that takes a lot of pride in what we do. Not only do we believe we make the best product out there, we back it up with a 365-day-a-year customer service team. Our team is there on Christmas Eve, Christmas morning. You screw up your Easter ham, you can call up our team, and they'll pick up the phone and help you figure out how to get that ham ready for the
ham tech support.
Exactly.
Wow.
We do these rescue recipes. We know at the end of the day, this is it's true technology. You have an onboard computer, you have a motor, you have a fan assembly. There's multiple moving pieces, and if your grill were to ever break down, you have a team behind you that will service it. We have a 3-year bumper-to-bumper warranty, but more importantly, if you call up 4 or 5 years later, our team's here to give you service. We take a lot of pride. We have what's called the Net Promoter Score. And our Net Promoter Score is 86 out of 100. And all that means is that 86% of the people out there would recommend Traeger to a friend. And that's huge. If you put it alongside other consumer brands, we're sitting here talking into an Apple phone right now. Apple ranges anywhere from mid 60s to a 72, depending on if it's a MacBook or if it's an iPhone or whatever that product is. But on average, their product we'll call it a 70, and we're an 86, and we take a lot of pride in keeping our customers happy and satisfied with their purchase. We're humble. We appreciate every time somebody buys a grill from us that they're part of our family, and they can feel like we're going to be there for them over the lifetime of the brand. We offer service parts, so on a weekly basis we get a call from a person who has an 8 or 10-year-old Traeger. It's outside of warranty, but their fan assembly went bad, and we can send them that part and get them back up and running. We want to create relationships and Traeger users for life. And that's all part of it. We also give back to the communities that support us. Outdoor is huge for us. Tyler's done a fantastic job engaging this community. We're all avid outdoorsmen, and we take a lot of pride in it. So as far as companies goes, this is a 30-year-old authentic company who's here to provide support for their product. I choose not to speak ill of any of our competitors, but I can tell you that nobody has a 30-year track record that can stand up against ours.
Awesome.
Absolutely. I'll tell you this, guys. Your score's a little bit higher in this room.
I think it's about 100.
So I appreciate you guys coming on the show. This has been amazing, and definitely you were on our short list of our hit list to get back on the show.
You guys are smoking hot.
Yeah,
absolutely. And for anybody that we haven't convinced already, where can somebody who's interested buy a Traeger drill? Can they buy it from your website or a dealer, or how's that work?
You can find us just about anywhere, to be quite honest. We have a nationwide reach. Obviously, our website is a great resource for learning, but stop into your local dealer, Ace Hardware, Home Depot, Cabela's. You can name us. You go to our website. You can type in your zip code. You'll find a dealer that's in their area that can show you the different models, the features, benefits of all the products. And it's going to be a great resource for you. Our dealers are really, really great at helping people out and making sure they buy the right grill for their use.
This has been great. Yeah, absolutely. I was just at Bass Pro and picked up some pellets today. So, thank you guys so much, man. I got Denny for making it happen to come back on the show, and it was, like I said, a great weekend with you at the Bearded Buck Turkey event, and I just appreciate you guys calling in and giving us a second chance.
The silver lining of the podcast Demons is getting to have Denny and Tyler on, and getting a little bit more of a voice out of Traeger, and having now two friends. We've doubled up our friends at Traeger.
Yeah, wow. Tyler, thank you. We've heard a lot about you, and it's been all great things. I definitely appreciate this, guys. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's been great. Thank you guys so much, and obviously keep in touch. And if there's anything that we can ever do, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, 10-4.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
We appreciate it. That was a great show, guys. How does everybody find us?
Well, they can find us at ruttenriverpursuits.com.
Where else?
I believe
Instagram, Twitters,
Facebook,
Stitcher, Castbox,
iTunes,
Google Play.
Google Play. Google Play Music. Play. It's actually under Google Play Music. Yeah. So.
And while you're over there, feel free to leave us a review
on the iTunes.
Please leave us an iTunes review, and Phil promises to read them.
I will catch
eventually.
Up on those. Yes,
eventually.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, guys.
Later.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Rut and River Pursuits podcast. Follow the RG Pro staff by searching Rut and River Pursuits on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Until the next episode, we need to see you in the outdoors.